wrote this down because I'm really nervous. It's not fair to make me go after that. Whoever did the timeline tonight. I'd like to start by thanking Alan and the whole First Ascents team for asking me to say a few words tonight. It's an honor and a privilege. On May 2nd, 2006, I was diagnosed with an extraskeletal myxoid chondrosarcoma. Or maybe it was an extraskeletal myxoid liposarcoma. My doctors don't really agree on this topic. It doesn't much matter which one it was, because they're both rare, aggressive, unresponsive to treatment, and they kill both quickly and efficiently. After brief consideration, I concluded that radical surgery was my only option. So a month after my diagnosis, I had my left leg amputated below the knee. A month after that, I had a thyroidectomy to remove a papillary carcinoma they discovered during my preliminary scans. And 3 weeks after being discharged from the hospital post-thyroidectomy, I headed straight back to the ER. A severe allergic reaction to my chemotherapy landed me in a critical condition in the ICU for over a month. In a period of 6 months, from the time of my diagnosis, my emergence from inpatient physical rehab, I transformed from an active, relatively healthy 30-year-old into a trembling shadow of my former self. Not only had I lost 30 pounds, but also my fingernails, my toenails, several sheets of skin from my hands and feet, and most of the hair on my body. I couldn't walk, and I could hardly sit up in bed without assistance. After 2 months on feeding tubes, hardly a meal went by that I didn't wonder if the food would settle or come right back up. I was constantly nauseous and perpetually tired. I was terrified of falling down the stairs, of falling in the shower, of falling into the stove. The neuropathy in my hands and feet left me anxious about dropping plates and glassware. I was unable to button a shirt, to zip my pants, or to tie my shoe. And even donning socks and underwear was a lengthy and painful process. It was in this condition that I first came across a First Ascents brochure, and I wasn't at all confident that I would be able to successfully complete any of the physical activities described therein, but it sounded like fun, so I filled out a form and I sent it in. And I think that may have been the single most important action that I took on behalf of my own post-treatment recovery, rivaled only by my enrollment in group therapy. I started pushing myself physically before I even landed in Colorado for camp. For the first time, I left my crutches at home, and I haven't used them outside the house a single time since then. That first night at camp, each of us met individually with the medical team. We discussed my chart, we discussed my particular needs, and our mutual expectations for that week at camp. It was immediately clear to me that I was in a safe and very supportive environment, and I decided to push myself at every opportunity. The majority of my recovery has been focused on learning how to do activities that I've always done in new and slightly different ways. And for the most part, I get by okay. I can walk and swim and ski and even stumble around a tennis court. But I had never before been whitewater kayaking, and I didn't really know what to expect. I was more curious than nervous, really, and definitely excited to try it. Day 2 on the water, much to my own surprise and delight, I completed a combat roll after tipping over in the rapids.
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
I didn't get up on the first try, or the second, but I simply held my breath and floated calmly upside down in the river, willing myself not to panic, and visualizing what Forrest had taught me just minutes before. And when on my third attempt, I snapped to the surface of the water, I felt like I could probably do anything. I was so alive in that instant, so empowered, and so comfortably at ease in my own body for the first time in over a year. I will absolutely never forget that moment. The period during my cancer treatment and early recovery was dominated by an overwhelming sense of loss of control and a feeling of utter fragility. I hardly think I'm unique in this matter. The loss of control is particularly, seems to be an especially universal component of the cancer experience for many people. Having one's physical body attack itself is both confusing and disconcerting. I think this is particularly upsetting for young patients whose age and physical fitness have previously provided little experience of the body's tendency toward degeneration. Instead of the slow and constant physical decline that accompanies the aging process, the experience of cancer, or of any life-threatening disease, I would imagine, comes like a slap in the face. It's an instant and visceral reminder of our mortality. Without the proper therapy and emotional encouragement, it's not hard to imagine why many of us would withdraw from the world in an instinctive act of self-preservation. From fear of the unknown darkness, we paradoxically shut ourselves away from the light. But for those who approach cancer as a challenging opportunity, rather than a curse, the journey offers a bounty of lessons, chief among these, that strength has little to do with physical prowess. First Descent provides a unique opportunity for a singularly underserved population of cancer survivors, young adults facing a terminal illness in the prime of life. I would like to offer my personal gratitude to Brad for his vision and his commitment to making this program a reality, as well as to all the staff and volunteers who keep it running day to day. Every one of you is an inspiration to me to be a better person. Your teaching, your teaching renews confidence. Your encouragement celebrates fearlessness. And at every turn, your actions affirm hope and love. My medical treatment undoubtedly saved my life, but First Descent reminded me how I want to live that life. So I urge all of you here tonight to spend freely. Your generous donations will no doubt resurrect unfettered aspirations and a delightful appreciation for life in the hearts of numerous young people who really need both. I know I did, so thank you for that gift.